Hello everybody, back here again for our vlog a day, and today is Saturday the 7th, and today was a beautiful, lovely day outside today. Sun was shining, got nice and warm, I think high 30s, maybe 39, something like that, and it was melting off like crazy, so definitely made it for a sloppy, gross mess, but that's gotta happen to get rid of all this damn snow at some point, so woke up this morning, fairly decent hour. Didn't get much sleep last night, having a weird sleeping thing going on. Really worried about my dog. Mostly, I think has a lot to do with it and that. So, got up, went to the store, got my grocery shopping done, headed up to Ottumwa to take my dog to the vet. And the vet clinic I go to, they don't really make appointments unless it's like a major type surgery thing. And I didn't know if this was going to be just like an early look at and have them come back and do it later or whatever. So, got up there, got the dog looked at, and there was like a tumor type looking thing on his ear that's been bleeding, and I can't seem to get it to stop bleeding. So I went ahead and asked him if they could cut it off, whatever. He said they could freeze it off, but he didn't have the equipment there. I want to know if I could bring him back later in a week. And I said, oh yeah, it's no problem. I said, I live like an hour away, if I'll just come up. And then he said, well, because a lot of times the freezing don't work, and it's a longer trip like that, he said he thought about just go ahead and lasering it off, which he had the equipment there to do it. So went ahead and he thought about it a little bit, and we kind of discussed it and talked it over, and he thought the lasering it off would make more sense and it'd be able to cauterize a little better, because on a dog's ear it's super hard to get it to stop bleeding because of the fact you can't really tape it up, and especially with him, he shakes his head so damn much that he beats his ears into things and ends up knocking the stuff off. I've tried everything and trying to get this healed up, from paper clips to clothespins to all kinds of stuff to tape to try and hold his ear, bandage back on, to the point I've even actually wrapped gauze around his whole head to hold his ear against his head so he can't flop it around so bad. That drives him crazy, but it still has to happen at times. So I went ahead, left the dog there. They gave him a shot to basically put him under so they could do a little surgery on him, and instead of having him fight and wrestle with him. And part of it's the fact that he's a pretty big dog. I mean, you guys have all seen Bruce on here, and he's got some size to him. I think the vets get a little nervous around a giant dog like that. When you start cutting on him, he can get aggressive, or any big dog get aggressive, then you can get hurt real easily. So they went ahead and gave him a shot. I left, came back. I said they'd call me. Actually, he told me to come back about an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours like that. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a weird time frame. So I just gave the front office my phone number, told them to come or call me when he was ready, and I'd come back and pick him up. And they closed at noon, so they called me a little bit before noon. I headed back up there, and it was about, I don't know, about 2 minutes after noon when I got in there, and went back to the back to get him, and he was still not even fully walking yet. He wasn't even really standing, to be honest with you. He was still under anesthesia, and they were having trouble. I got, talking to him. He kind of heard my voice, but wasn't really sure what was going on. Tried to walk him out of there, and he wasn't walking good. So once we got him out of the operating room, and got him out where I could get a hold of him, I just picked him up and carried him out to the car. And it's one of those things where he, doesn't like being carried, but I had been working on that and training him with that kind of thing. In case he ever got hurt or something, you never really know. I got to be able to pick up that dog. And before, he was freaked out by any thought of it. And I think that helped because, like I said, he was still out of it. He wasn't really with the whole concept. It was almost like as if he's just severely drunk kind of scenario. But went ahead and basically got him in the car, went back in, paid my bill, took care of it all. And they're going to send off the chunk they took off to have it biopsied for see if it's cancer or not. And it really had me freaking out and worried about that. So I'm hoping it's not going to be. There's nothing I can do. I just got to wait for it to come in with any results on that whole process and go from there. So went ahead, got that bill paid, which is always so much fun. Now I got to figure out what it's going to cost to finish the rest of this. I've heard between like $300 and $500 to find out if it's cancer or not. And the vet didn't tell me, so I figured it doesn't matter. I've got to find out, because if it is, I want to get it worked on as soon as possible, and hopefully I'll know something pretty darn soon. So who knows? I figure if I don't hear from him in a week or so, I'll call back up there and get a result and go from there. So after that, went back up to my buddy's house and just left Bruce in the car. He was still just dopey. I mean, he was not even, he wasn't awake yet. So I got him in the front seat where he feels more comfortable, because he kind of knows I have to come back in the front seat to basically go anywhere. So the sun was beating down in the car, and it was actually surprisingly warm, so I just left the windows up, cracked a little bit so he could get some fresh air through, but not enough to keep him cold. And it was, like I said, like 39 degrees, but in the car, when I went to go get him, it only been sitting there for about an hour and 20 minutes like that, and the car was like, I'd say in the probably high 70s. It was nice and warm in the car. So, and I parked it where it's facing the sun again, so keep it warm for him instead of to have it running. Let him sit in there for about an hour or so like that. Went back out and checked on him, and he was just drooling like crazy. There was like slobber all this of the car and all that good stuff. Finally gave up on that. Headed back in, smoked another cigar, basically got home. After that, went back out to him, drove him home. He was walking around, kind of stumbling and stuff a little bit. Went for a bit of a run. He was running a little ways. It was hours after that, probably, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night, probably 7 o'clock. And he was doing pretty good, but not great. He kind of got a little weird after about a mile, so we walked for about 3 or 4 miles and then ran the last mile again, and he seems to be doing great. So right now, I'm just going to hopefully tomorrow morning I'll wake up and it'll all be over and done with, and he won't even know the difference. So that's all I got for today. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a safe and wonderful day. Thanks for watching.